Well, here we are in Europe. I am, after all, partially European, living in Italy, as some of you may know. I live in the north of Lago di Garda, the largest lake in Italy. I actually live up in these mountains up here at the foot of the Brenta Group. But I got invited down by a friend of a friend, Carlo, and Carlo has a yacht in the old fishing port, Pescaria Vecchia Pescatori or something, I'm not sure. My Italian, despite living here for so long, is not that good. And this is the place. This is looking south. Big fish. Oh, that'll be why it's the old fishing port. Trout, fresh fish, lots of it about. And lots of, what are they, birds, ducks mainly, but some wonderful white swans also hang about. It is a sailing mecca, as I said. So immediately I heard about this boat. I went down and had a peek. This video is from a couple of occasions where I went to check out the place and see the boat. Beautiful little port, wonderful, except when there's waves coming up in the afternoon, but it can be quite terrifying going in there. You'll notice the solid concrete step that you might crush into if you're not careful. But beautiful spot. I was actually down there for my daughter Frida, who was doing a sailing course at the Circolo della Arco Sailing Club. Wonderful little club that I can highly recommend if you want to go sailing. I would love to get a little boat like that one, the Exxon Xenon Topaz, whatever they are, Plastic Fantastics. I've been out on it twice now, lots of fun. But meanwhile, back to Carlo's yacht. I went down and we did a little bit of a test sail, went out with a couple of his friends, sailed around. That's where we live, up on that hill up there. But we hung out, pirated a mooring in true Kiwi fashion, had a couple of paninis, a couple of beers, and got to know each other, and then sailed back. That's Carlo there with the hat, and it must have made an impression because he rang me up, and then this happened. So the original plan was to go down and meet him way down the bottom of the lake there in Porto San Felice, this little one here. But it was quite difficult to get down by bus because connecting buses and getting there midweek and out of commuting times and stuff, it was a bit of a headache for me. I was having to change bus a few times and that can be a bit grief. But then he sailed up the lake anyway the day before, and the day before we were due to go, he said, hey, well, I'll meet you here instead. And this was perfect. So I went down to Giagnano, which is a very difficult one for me to say, and I apologise for my terrible pronunciation. But we were going to sail the boat back up to the port where he keeps it near Torbole in the north of the lake. Now, before I start, I'd like to explain that this is Italy's largest lake. It's got mountains in the top and the hot, dry plains in the south. And what that creates is a wind system which is irregular as clockwork. It's called the Aura del Garda, and basically what it is the cool air from the mountains overnight flows down through the valley to the hot plains. But by about 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, it reverses and starts flowing up. And it's because of this regular wind that Lake Garda is so famous for sailing and so popular, especially in the north. Oh, no, all over really. Okay, it's 10 to 9 on a Friday morning. I'm doing what's known as my Friday wag. Sorry for the big nose. I've caught the bus from Riva del Garda to go down and meet Carlo. He's down in Giagnano. And we're going to sail up Lake Garda today. And one of the most spectacular features are, of course, the tunnels as you're going down the lake. Some of these tunnels on the lakes have been used in James Bond movies, although I think that's more Lake Como direction. But the rumour that I've heard, and I saw it in a museum, is in the Second World War they actually hid the entire factory of Fiat in these tunnels so they could protect them all from Allied bombing and things like that. In fact, there's a lot of the War Museum in Riva del Garda is well worth a visit if you're interested in history like that. People have been lost in the lake, and obviously it's a mountain lake which is super deep, and I think in the last 5 years they managed to finally find a group of soldiers whose boat sunk trying to get to Torbole. But anyway, that's not today's problem. Today's problem is cyclists and the competing interests of cyclists, because it's a very narrow road and it's extremely busy and congested. And then you get the bikers, and those bikers plagued us all the way down. But there's a few policemen keeping control of things, and it was a very enjoyable journey. Past Limone, where there's the lemon trees, where they make the limoncello, the alcoholic beverage from lemons. Well, they used to, but of course now they can probably grow them better and cheaper in the south. In fact, I'm sure they do, and now it's pretty much only symbolic in name only. Okay, so I'm not much good at talking to myself, as you know, but this, I think, is where my friend is. Somewhere here. And in fact, there he is. Hopefully he won't mind me filming. That was a pretty exciting trip down. It's going to be even more exciting the trip back. I haven't asked, he doesn't know I'm a camera guy. And this town was beautiful. And there was Carlo. He was talking to a very famous sailor who'd won a number of sailing races in the lake. Got introduced to him. Got invited for coffee and then thought, nah, to hell with the coffee. Let's just get out in there in the lake and wait for the Lago di Garda to arrive, which did take a little while, but we did get a spinnaker up. That's what you've got to look forward to. That's okay. What is the time?
Do you know the story of Campione?
Tell me.
If you look, you see that there are no road.
See?
No, that arrives in Campione. Now they made a galleria, a tunnel for Campione, but many years ago there is not the tunnel, and there are only a little house of pescatori. A man thought to build a fabric farm, a factory. But there was not people in Campione.
Ah, to lavori. There was no workers. Only fishermen.
Only fishermen. And people from the house.
See, the campagna.
Okay. Every morning they went to the fabric by walk.
Straight down the cliff.
Straight down the cliff. And in the evening, they
Straight back up the cliff.
Straight back there, every day, for years. Yeah. And some years ago, they built a tunnel, and you can go in the Campione by car.
Under the cliff is very dangerous, isn't it? Like I've been there and stood under the cliff, and you look up and you think, whoa, arriva da pietra. The stones could come down very easily.
This Campione now it's famous for the people who jumps with ala, a fly with how do you say?
Ah, the wing, the wing. Yeah, the base jumping flyboys.
The jumping with the ala.
Sì.
Volo alare, we say.
No, familiare. In Acco and in Petra Murata they also do that.
Yeah,
sì.
Petra Murata. Yeah.
Sì.
It's the same.
Carlo, bless him. Full of some really good stories. Unfortunately, that one, the Campione he was talking about, was actually just up around the corner. He'd got the place name wrong. But understandable when later on he was telling me about his detached retina, and he was actually only operating on 60-70% of his vision. But great company, good stories. And he told a few more as the day went on. From the mud.
When Colombo, how do you say, we are going to America?
Yeah, sailing to America
Sailing
or discovering America.
Yeah. In the middle of the ocean, they saw some birds, and they thought to be near to the land, but they don't knew that some birds when migrano, how do you say? Migrating from the north to the south. they how do you say, trespass they pass the Atlantic Ocean. And they thought, oh, land is near because I see a bird. And now
Well, as we got closer to Torbole, you can see that the sailing activity increased. There's World Championship sailing events from all around the world in this part of the world. And as we were going into the port of Torbole later, there's Lago di Garda over there on the left. Over on the right in Torbole there, you've got to pass through these racing yachts, and there has been an occasion where we got called up and told to get out of the blooming way and stuff like that. Part of the toughest part of navigating is all of the people learning to sail who don't always have control of their boats and can fall off in front of you or don't know the give way rules, stuff like that. So it's quite easily the most challenging part. That and the narrow entrance and the concrete when you get in there.
A little.
Yeah, we go the far side of the buoy. Yeah? Go around past the... we'll miss these ones.
Then on the right.
See? Okay. Hey, I'm videoing.
Okay.
No.
Make the video.
Yeah.
Make the video.
But you will need to grab the ropes, yeah? I can't grab the ropes. This here?
Yeah.
Do you want to? You grab the ropes. I steer. I'm comfortable steering. Ok, bene.
Retro, a little retro.
Okay, so the boys there. Oh, we have someone volunteering to grab the front. Boom, we've missed this one. Missed this one. You have the rope? Is that okay? What is this chain? Is this a special chain?
Is a wake to...
Oh, wait? Oh, to hold it down when you're coming in?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I start,
See the propeller?
to avoid that this or this.
And did you do this?
Finish.
Did you do this?
Oh, yeah.
The propeller? Oh, no, fantastic. Good trick. Good trick. Yeah, well, there we go. What a wonderful day. Thank you, grazie Carlo, for such a beautiful day. Such a wonderful man and a beautiful boat, and thanks for taking all the time to try and speak English to me. I know it's not easy when I'm not a native speaker, but what a fantastic day, very memorable, and hope to see you again soon. Hope you enjoyed the video. Ciao for now.